Hi, I'm Nick and this is the TBT channel. Welcome to today's video. Today is Sunday. I have checked the rules, and because it's Sunday that means I'm allowed to do a video. There's nothing to do with shooting, so I'm going to go and play on my quad again. Now, this is the point where you start stamping on your keyboard. I only want to see stuff about guns. I enjoy doing this channel, I really do, but I enjoy other things apart from guns, and sometimes I want to talk about them. And there are a few people, not many, but a few people who enjoy them as well. So I'm going to carry on doing this. And it gets worse. Today, I'm going shopping. I wonder where this one's going. I don't actually know. Well, I do eventually, obviously. When I first got the quad, we went out for a ride. Well, I went out for a ride and I took you with me. And I said my ambition was to find an off-road route as much as possible to the second closest supermarket to where I live. It's everybody's dream. It's every little boy's dream, isn't it? Which is in Montmoreau, which is 11 kilometres as the crow flies that way. Good news. I found a way to it. 13 kilometres in total, majority off-road. I found it over a week ago now because it's been raining, so I haven't been out adventuring for a few days, and I found it coming back from the supermarket in Montmoreau. So what I've got to try and do now over a week later is try and remember my way in reverse. So that's what we're going to do today. That's all. We're just going to go and play on the quad, and it's going to take a while because it's 13 kilometres, most of it off-road. Some of it, if I remember rightly, was pretty off-road as well. And why are we going shopping? This is another thing. I have been inundated with requests from you saying, when are you going to start doing cookery videos? I know, right? It's the obvious thing. It is. No, seriously, people have. And I've talked to a couple of you on the phone this week and say, yeah, what a great idea. So we're going to be doing cookery videos, just stuff, just bloke cooking. It came up, I was talking to a chap whose name escapes me earlier this week, and it was along the lines of, you know, different reasons. You know, you come home with a new gun sometimes and you like to change the subject, or you like to justify it, or things like that. And we came up with the idea of really good cooking that blokes could do to get brownie points with the missus before you bring the gun case in from the car. So that's what it's going to be. It's going to be easy stuff, but I'm going to make a quiche. Now, quiche is my signature dish. But I need some of that spreadable Philadelphia type stuff. They don't call it Philadelphia, but the spreadable with the garlic and the herbs in it. So I've got to go to the shop, and that's what we're going to do. If you don't want to watch me go to the shop on a quad, then don't. And when I make my cookery programme things, if you don't want to watch them, don't. I don't blame you. But we will be covering the very important subject of which wine with snails. But anyway, that's all in the future. Let's go for a ride on the quad. And we're ready for the off. It's going to be an interesting one today because it's been cold. I think I mentioned it's been actually raining for the last week, but it's up over 30 degrees again today, and I've got my full face helmet on, and for a change I've actually got long trousers on them, my bike trousers, mainly because of the little bitey things. I don't know if you saw the video I did on the Indiana Jones one with that crypt. There was proper nasty bitey things, and they're attracted by the heat of the engine, so I'm wearing long trousers to avoid those coming down and biting my legs. So the beginning of this journey is on the road. I could actually change it slightly so that I was off the road a little bit more, but it made the entire journey longer. So I figured this would be less painful for everybody. Now I'm just battling with the straps that are holding my camera onto my full face helmet today. So if you can hear flapping around, that's the straps for those. there we go. So, enough silliness. This is where our off-road adventure starts. Grrr, it's gripped, it's sorted, visor up. It's quite a little track. This is one of the new tracks that I found last week when I was trying a different way home. A couple of the tracks that we're going on are ones I've known about for a few weeks, but it's always nice to find something that you hadn't realised was there. And also, there's another video I'm currently doing. I don't think it's going to be ready before this one comes out. It's where I go mushroom hunting. I've been doing it, but it's going to be put together once I've got enough of what I wanted to put in there right. But part of the things that we're finding is there's an awful lot in autumn to be picked. I think is this. Yeah, look at this, look. Walnut tree. Now the walnuts aren't quite ready yet, but they'll be dropping off soon, and I've noticed a lot of walnut trees around here. I do like a walnut, so we'll be hunter-gathering those as well. Maybe even finding recipes for my new cooking channel. The cooking channel, it's not a cooking channel at all. It is simply a couple of things. Big dip there. A couple of things I've done. People said, oh, you should do a video on cooking it. And because I'm doing a thing on the mushrooms, it made sense. And I do like cooking. I do the cooking at home. We've got a deal. You probably know from watching the channel, our youngest daughter, is disabled. Karen does an awful lot of the icky, nasty stuff, dealing with looking after her, and I don't. So in return, I do the cooking, which, as far as I'm concerned, that's a pretty bonza deal I've got going there. Now these were laden with fruit. There is still some there, but it's going back now. I'm guessing the little aminals have been out eating it. But I do tend to, yeah, they're drying up on the actual plant as well. I do tend to graze my way around. When I find a blackberry bush or an apple tree or a something, you'll say, oh, here we go, there's another one, look. I do tend to pick stuff as I go and eat it. Chestnuts, now we've had I'm hoping a really good summer for the chestnuts, because I do love chestnuts and there's a lot of trees around. But these, as you can see, they're not ready as yet, but it won't be long. Next month, about 4 weeks time for them, I reckon. And if I come picking them on my, dragonfly, if I come picking them on my quad, I'm going to film it and I'm going to put it on here. As much because I enjoy doing it, and it gives me a reason to do it, as anything else. I don't do it to annoy you lot. I know some of you do actually watch this. That's your lookout. So as you can see, this is a path that has been made by a vehicle. I've found out I've actually joined a French off-roading group, and they're kind of proactive in keeping these routes open, because people want, in many cases, to close them. You know, it might go past their house, especially if they're Brits. It goes past their house and they don't like it, so they'll block it off or put a private sign up, even if it isn't private, things like that. But this doesn't have private written on it. It isn't blocked off, and it is obviously made by a vehicle because there are 2 tracks. That's another requisite, prerequisite even, which I wasn't aware of when I did the last one. It isn't just that it's a path that you can get down, it has to be a path that you could get down in a normal vehicle, i.e. a Twingo. And seeing how French drive their Twingos, they could get a Twingo along here. Now these aren't used often, as you can see by the trees growing up in the centre of it. So at some point I will be coming back with my secateurs. Oh, by the way, I don't know if you can see that, I've added 2 new boxes on the front here. One side I've got my gardening equipment. I've got secateurs, little saw, a knife, and what else is in there? Basically that kind of all be mushroom knife for the mushroom video. That's all in there. This side I've got normal tools, so everything's getting compartmentalised, that's the word, isn't it? Which is nice. I do like a bit of order. There's more chestnuts, look. You know, we never struggle for chestnuts. I absolutely love them. Roasting on an open fire. No, we actually put them in the oven. I could do that, couldn't I? I could show you. I mean, I know it's pretty basic, cooking chestnuts, but I could show you how it's done. Forage them as well. Bonjour. And we've got a fig tree here. Don't know who that belongs to. But if I see somebody that I think it belongs to, when I'm not filming, I will ask if I can have some of the figs. So again, this one is actually marked on the map. I'm using the IGN maps now, which is the French, the national French, well, basically their equivalent of the Ordnance Survey. This is a road, an actual road. Can't remember the name of it, Chemins or something. But again, using the criteria, I could get a Twingo along here. It does actually say that you have to be able to get a normal car along it, not a 4x4. And to be honest, in a couple of areas, that's a bit hazy. The definition can be a bit of a crossover there. And I think on a couple of the patches we'll get to today, you'll see that. But anyway, this is just I'm just going shopping. This is just me going shopping. This is what we do. This is the French way. We select the second closest supermarket, buy an off-road vehicle and try and get there without using roads. Everybody does it. It's a national pastime. It's the American dream, French dream. Not in America, it's the French dream. These sunflowers are very, very nearly ready for harvesting now. Looking at my inclinometer, the angle's like, it feels like a bad angle, but it's only about 10 degrees and this will go up to 30. I am putting all my weight on the right hand side and stopping for the corner because it's an adverse camber. And the biggest risk with farming quads, which is what this is cross sloping, just the quad tumbling. And the biggest risk if that happens is getting stuck underneath it. So when you get, and there's another one, look, an adverse camber, just slow right down. There's no rush. There's no rush. So who's that? Bob Ross. That could be the quad equivalent of Bob Ross, the painter. It don't matter, it's your world, go as slow as you like. Now, the first time I came along here, that little reservoir thing down there was completely full. Then again, I do believe this field was completely barren. So this is a road. I'm just going to reverse here. I'm going to do some reversing. If I can get it into reverse, there we go. This is a road. It isn't blocked. It doesn't say private. I don't know if you can see that, but there's a track going into that wood and there's a chain going across it. That means I'm not allowed in there. If somebody does that, it is verboten, interdit, as they say here. And again, you can see this is clearly made by a vehicle. There are two distinct wheel tracks. So this is a road. There we are. The Roncenac and Gurat Chasse, that's blocked off there as well. So that is a private chemin down there. keeping half an eye out for mushrooms as well, because I've got a good beef bourguignon or possibly stroganoff. It's one or the other. I don't really know because I tend to make things up as I go along, but a good beef, mushroom and red wine recipe to show you that honestly is delicious. It's fantastic, you'll be amazed, but it's so simple. It doesn't take very long at all. So I will be showing you that. It would be nice if I could find some foraged, that's the word I was looking for, some foraged mushrooms to go inside of it. Shop bought ones are fine, but you know, free's always better. If you know what you're looking for, I must actually say that. Keep forgetting. Some people, if you go out and you don't know what you're looking for and you pick mushrooms, you can make yourself very poorly indeed. So yeah, maybe don't do that if you don't know. Okay, now this brings us out onto our gravel route here, and we can go either way, but I'm going to go this way because it's more off-road. Grrr, roughy tufty. Little lizard scuttling across the road there in front of us. You won't have seen him, he was far too small, but oh, there goes another one. The bloody hell was that coming down my road? Now this is the part, I don't know if you remember it from another video, but we can go either way here. I'm going to go the bumpy way this time. Take the shortcut. Ooh, but it has rained since, so that's washed quite a lot of the rocks away. That's bumpy. Just blipping the throttle to bring the engine braking back in, because with a CVT gearbox you can lose engine braking when it drops off the belt. So just blipping the throttle brings it back under there. See, I'm not braking, that's the engine. Then it goes off, starts to whine, blip it again, slows it down again. Better to get the engine braking than potentially overheating the discs. There we go. And that's where the other route would have come out. There we are. See, that's, I'm not sure I'd have got a Twingo up it. I'd have got a Twingo down it. Well, most of the Twingo would have got to the bottom. Oh, there you go, look, an apple tree. Seriously, in the countryside this time of year, food everywhere. Absolutely everywhere. Another apple tree. That one's ready for picking, but I'm on a mission today. A mission from God. To buy some cream cheese with garlic and chives in it to make a quiche. Do love shopping. There we are, another apple tree. Now I picked some sloes the other day. That's going to be in the foraging, the hunter-gatherer video that isn't completed yet, but I picked them the other day, so I've got my sloe gin on ready for Christmas. You can use any fruit. I've actually got sloe mango and pineapple this year. Basically just get a demi-john, 2 litre demi-john I reckon, a kilo of sugar, a load of fruit and a litre of gin. And then just set it aside for a few months, stirring it every week. There we go. And now we're back onto the road. All the way to here. Then we skip down this little lane here, and we're back off road again. There was a family in that pool there when I came past last week. They all waved and said bonjour. Kind of get the feeling I'd have got shouted at in the UK for it, but depends. You know, I've had 4x4s in the UK, and not real off-roading. I've never done real off-roading, but when we lived up in the northeast, we quite often go up into the dales or up into the moors, forever looking for those little blue rectangular signs that say unsuitable for motor vehicles. That's just a challenge, isn't it? It's unsuitable, not you're not allowed to. It's like this, it's a green lane, you're allowed on it, but they've decided it's, on the whole, probably best not take your... I did take a BMW 7 Series down one once, that was fun. But not advisable. So that's what I would be looking for in the UK, would be the little blue signs. Now it's all gone hazy. This is part of the route I don't remember, and I was coming the opposite way. So I'm just going to try and keep my wits about me, such as they are, about me. Lots of jays, that'll be the acorns, won't it? Herds of them, look, herds of jays. They're above me as well. Currently doing 26 kilometres an hour, just or 25 for reference. Not going quick. One of the things, this off-road group that I've joined, one of the things they promote is they're actually a group for everybody. It's not a motorcyclist or a quad bikers or a 4x4 off-road car group. It's for everybody. If somebody were to shut this lane down by putting a bar across it or putting a passage privé across it, that means nobody's allowed down it. Pedestrians, horse riders, motorcycles, push bikes, you know, VTTs, Velo tout-terrain, mountain bikes. Nobody would be allowed down there. So it's kind of important that we keep using these routes, making sure they stay open, and they are trying to formulate a national map to show which ones are actually allowed, and if they find any that are truly forbidden, it's marked on the map to stop people from going down it. Because, you know, if it's a private road, you don't want people going down it. If it's, you know, if they're not allowed to be, I totally understand that. But the NIMBY attitude, the not in my backyard attitude, is rare here. But the more Brits move in, the more it's happening. You know, you move into an area, like, move into the countryside, we see it a lot. I expect you have as well. Somebody will move to the countryside, and then on a forum on Facebook you'll see them complaining, the tractors are out early, what are they doing out? It's noisy, I want to sit in my garden. Or the farmer spread poo all over his field and it smells, who do I complain to? Sorry love, you've moved to the country, that's what happens. And it's you know, the Brits are moving here, so the attitude's coming here. Now, we're going to be on this for over half a mile, so let's just get this bit done. Here we go, tight back on ourselves and back off road. There was a family moved into, I won't say which one, but moved into a town in Cornwall, and if you're local to it, you'll know the story anyway, and if you're localish to it, you'll be able to work it out from the description. But they bought a house. They'd moved down from that London, and they decided they'd like a life in the countryside, so they moved down to Cornwall and bought a house called the Old Vicarage. It was a lovely, proper old vicarage. And within a week, they'd already complained about the sound of the church bells. Now, the name, the Old Vicarage, is a bit of a clue in my book, and the fact it was slap bang next to the church was another. But no, they didn't like the bells, because actually they're quite noisy if you're close to them. Really. And then, a little while later, there's the vicarage, then there's the church, then just on the other side of the road is the rugby club. On Saturdays, when the rugby team are playing, you can hear people playing rugby. You can hear whistles being blown, you can hear people cheering, and some people park their cars. Oh, they didn't like that at all. If only they'd known there'd been a rugby club there for like 80 years before they bought the house. So much could have been avoided. But I'm sure we've all got stories like that, where somebody's moved into a village which basically made a nuisance of themselves. If you've got any like that, always leave a comment below. I don't mind what you leave a comment about. It's nice hearing from you. Do you know what I mean? It's nice to... I'm not just talking to myself. I'm not just a lonely fella making videos that nobody will ever watch. Honest. That's what I keep telling my wife. It's not that. You can see, well, I don't know, can you see normal car tyre tracks on this road here? I mean, yeah, it's bumpy, it's got ruts and blah blah blah, it's not tarmacked. Like, this bit's a little bit bumpy, but you can get a car along here, and it is after all a road. By any definition you want to use. Maybe not the M1. Oh no, look at that. I told you it'd been raining. There's a puddle. I don't want to get me quad muddy. I can get around that, can't I? Yeah. Good. Let's off-road, but without getting dirty. Don't like getting dirty. Now, this bit here, we leave the main bit goes round that way, but I do know that after about 200 metres down there, there's a chain across the road and it says private. So respecting that, I haven't been past that chain, but this way does not. So we should continue along here. And the first time I came along here was before I'd fitted a winch. And I nearly cried, because it got very scary very quickly, and I realised if I did get it stuck, I couldn't get it out again, and I couldn't get anybody here to help me get it out again. So that's kind of why I bought and fitted the winch so quickly. But here we are, look at this. Now, we've got ruts to each side, so that's the... If I don't put the handbrake on, it beeps when I stand up. We've got ruts to each side. That one is about a foot deep there. It changes as we go along this next bit. But if I was to fall into that, I don't have the ground clearance. Simply don't have the ground clearance to deal with that. So I'll try and keep two wheels up on this side. And this is the bit where it's a bit, you've got to be able to get along it in a normal car. It really depends here, I think, how committed you are and how much you like the car in question. See, look at the size of this. But I've got the ground clearance on this side. All I'm going to do is squidge right over onto this side. This is why we have these little paddle controls, thumb controls on quads, so you can hang off of one side of the quad, keeping the weight there while it goes over at a silly angle. Like that. See? Oh, it's difficult to control with your fingertip of your middle finger. So this is why I fitted I mean, look at the size of that one there. That's a ravine. This is why I fitted the winch. If I was to drop it into there, say we came along here and it had got a little muddier and it dropped into there, fit the winch to that, drag the quad out, not a problem at all. Also, just another little note, the ground is still firm. I'm still in 2-wheel drive with an unlocked rear differential. I've still yet to really, if I'm honest, find a situation where anything else was the case. So we've got spider's webs coming across me face down this one, so not used often, but you can still see it's 2 tracks made by wheels. So it's most definitely a road, not a footpath. Keep saying that to yourself as it gets narrower. Definitely a road, definitely a road, definitely a road, not a footpath. Do you know what I've forgotten to do? I've forgotten to be looking out for mushrooms. Never mind, I will do the mushrooms on a separate day, on a separate video. The French are kind of like hobbits when it comes to mushrooms, they do like them. Right, so now we skip off this way. This is just cutting the corner, because I could go down there. If I come this way, I rejoin this road. Here. And it's all getting, this is it again. I've only been along this bit once. Trying to figure out if I'm coming the right way. I'm pretty sure I am. Pretty sure. Hopefully at the end of this, if memory serves me right, I'll come out between the stone barn and the stone house into what looks like somebody's yard, and then bear off down to the right, and then a couple of 100 metres of tarmac. Yeah, look at that, we're on a proper road now. Proper road. This is probably the last weekend I'm going to be able to do this as well, because next weekend the hunt officially opens for the year, 14th of September. You're still allowed here, the chasse will be around and about, and they are supposed to put signs out when they're in a wood to warn people that they're in there. But there were some rather large caliber rifles being used, and there's only so much a Dayglow orange jerkin will do to protect you from them. And I do have a bright orange Dayglow jerkin, which I will be wearing whenever I'm in the woods for whatever reason. And normally when I see the chasse, because again it's one of those things, the English don't like it. They don't like it up them. They're not necessarily, they're not necessarily vegetarian. They don't like their meat to come from animals that's been killed. They'd rather it came from a supermarket wrapped in cellophane. You know the sort. But when I do see the chasse, I always make a point of pulling over, having a chat, maybe staying around for half an hour and watching. It's interesting. If that happens, I might fire the camera up and video a bit of it for you, because wild boar hunting is it's I don't know, you could class it as an extreme sport, that's for certain. Okay, that was a little bit. Now we've got a little bit more. I was rather excited because I thought that would go somewhere, but that isn't a road, it's just a dead end. But if we come down here, we've got a sign I like very much down here. You know, I was saying about if you can get a normal car along it. Well, this fella here has just gone up there in his Kangoo. I was saying about the unsuitable for vehicles, road vehicles in the UK. This is the French equivalent. It's a road, but nothing over 3.5 tonnes allowed. And that means, by definition, anything under 3.5 tonnes is allowed. Now, I'm coming up here and you're looking at this thing and that's pretty gnarly. Look at the size of those dips and the rocks and the oh, the gullies and stuff like that. There's a fella just in front of me in a Kangoo dragging a trailer along it. I feel less of a roughy tufty off-roader now, I'm not going to lie. Oh, I'm more, I've said it before, I'm more a green laner. I don't want to get dirty, I don't really want to get stuck. I just enjoyed exploring all the little trails that were around. And I do have a winch to help him if he gets stuck. But he's got his gardening gear, a wheelbarrow and stuff like that in the back of the trailer. So I expect he comes up here all the time. I mean, look at it, it's crazy. Honestly, if you haven't seen the Grand Tour Carnage à Trois, watch it. It is absolutely, for a start, it's hilarious, but it is 100% correct. They don't need a 4x4. A normal car will get there. I mean, Christ, people in London drive 4x4s because it might be a bit damp one morning. I love it. I'm just hoping when he gets to where he's going, he's got room to pull over so I can get past him. Look at that, arm hanging out the side of his car, 0 fucks given. Logs there. I mean, he could just be coming down to get his logs. Told you about his the logs, didn't I? That was on the Indiana Jones video. More there. You know, you can buy wood, or you can just come into the wood that belongs to the commune, to the village, and help yourself. And a lot of people do. He's seen me. He's reversing up. Bonjour. Ah, do we? This will be as far as they're coming with it. Yeah, it's easier. I know it's easier to take the trailer off than it is to reverse one of them little buggers. Merci, monsieur. Vous êtes prêt pour le prochain week-end pour la chasse? Ah. D'accord, bonne journée, au revoir. There we go. I must admit, I didn't know how much further up this track they'd be able to get it. But we'd have seen, I guess, but just doing a bit of gardening, as you do. I don't know, I feel a Wally just coming up here on a quad. I should have just brought our wheelchair car. That's a Peugeot partner. That would have done it. Honestly, I wouldn't dare. Now, this is chestnut coppice in woodland, ideal for looking for mushrooms. I'm really looking forward. I've only found the seps, the ones that I'm actually targeting, I only found them a couple of times before, but I've never really dedicated myself to it. This time I am trying. The fact that the video is not out yet gives you an idea as to how I'm actually doing with it. Now, so look at that. Landed at a crazy angle because that was full of leaves. If in doubt, slow down. If in more doubt, stop. Discretion is the better part of valour, and cowardice is the better part of discretion. Wondering why I keep looking down at my phone there, is to make sure it's still recording. I have before now on this quad recorded a whole video and got home only to find I didn't press start. That'll come as no surprise, I guess, to many of you. It's a little bit narrower and bumpier now. Maybe he would have struggled a bit on this bit. Where the bloody hell am I? No, it is this way. I'm pretty sure it's this way. Pretty sure. We'll see. Worst case scenario, a turn round. Just have a look back there. Yes, I'm on the right track. That's the little coppice where there was a couple of old fellas cutting wood there the last time I came from this direction here, and he's I believe that was a Renault Kangoo as well. His Renault Kangoo was parked across the track, so he came out to move it for me. Looked grumpy as hell first of all, but you get chatting to him, you know. That was when I was getting eaten alive by them little bitey bastards. So I asked him, in French obviously, how'd you stop them biting you? And he just laughed and said, oh, it's the heat of the engine from your quad. And that's when I realised that's why I've got my long trousers on today, because I wasn't getting bitten on the arms, just on the legs. Whoa! Let's just roll back a bit here. Don't know if you saw that in passing. That's a big hole. Fox or badger, what do you reckon? Possibly a deer or a boar. It's big enough. So that means up here at some point I want to turn right, but not back on myself, because I've kind of memorised bits of this from looking at the map. Really, I have. I've got one of those memories where I can remember an awful lot of things. Nothing useful though. Ask me anything about giraffes, I can tell you an extraordinary amount of stuff about giraffes. But that's no use. I left school in 1987. And the reason that's relevant is 1987 is the last year of the O-levels. After that it was GCSEs, and the way GCSEs worked was it was based on your coursework and on your exams, because it was deemed unfair that you spent 11 years at school and then it all came down to what you could remember in 2 hours in a sweaty hall in June. And that's great, but O-levels suited me perfectly, because I was a lazy little turd, and I spent 11 years at school hating it, run away whenever I could, but in my own little way learning. I still remember most of it now, and I certainly did then. So I remember Mr. England, my science teacher. He didn't like, because I was also a smart ass. You know, one of those kids that you really don't like. That was me. Nothing's changed. But he'd always, because I was always correcting him in class, because science and not physics so much, but science and chemistry were my favourite subjects. So he'd get stuff wrong and I'd correct him, and he'd always say, we'll see how it goes in the exam, Mr. Smarty Pants. So anyway, we did O-levels and I smashed it. 11 years of doing bugger all, but I remembered it all. You see, if I'd have been doing GCSEs, I'd have done terribly, because they'd have said, well, it's based, 60% of it's based on your coursework. What coursework, sir? I did fuck all. Oh, excuse my language, I did nothing. So yes, I've memorised. That's what we were talking about. I've memorised parts of this route. Now here again is another one you may say, well surely that would be a struggle for a Twingo, and what I've done is I've just brought this side up onto the verge here, and we're straddling, sorry I've just hit the camera trying to hit the bloody mosquitoes there, we're straddling the rut, so I reckon if I fell into there it would just be a pain in the arse trying to get it back out again. Do you know what? It's me saying about how brilliant my memory is. I am just going to... Yeah, I didn't mean to press that button. That wasn't the button that I meant to press. I meant to do that one and come out and go to my cart, which is French for maps. And I'm just going to see whether I should go right or straight on. And I don't actually know if I'm recording now. So press that and it should centre on where I am, facing that way. Am I going to Shares Broad? Yes I am. So I actually want to turn down that road there. So let us go back into that, see if it... Oh, it was still recording, so you should have still caught that. You should actually have seen the maps there. So me being a gobshite, oh, I've got such a great memory, got to a crossroads and got to which way I was supposed to go. There we are. It don't matter because there's only about 3 of you watching by now. So it's been going on for over half an hour. So I am sorry for that. Is there anything you need while I'm at the shops? I'll get it while I'm there. Leave a comment below. Another thing I've done before now, apart from forgetting to press record and riding around for an hour talking to myself, I've also... Oh, look at that! Something's caught me. I don't know what that was. Probably a bramble. I've also ridden around for a considerable amount of time, and because I've got a separate little microphone inside my crash helmet, I forgot to connect it to the wirelessly, obviously. Forgot to connect it to the camera, so it was a silent movie. That was good. This is soft. This wasn't this soft last time. I'm guessing some cars have been through here and they've churned it up a little bit, which is okay. Don't really matter. It's your own little world. Do what you want. Bob Ross again. Oh, hello. I'm actually going to go down into that because I fear trying to go across the edge of it will just tip me in. There we are. Extraordinary. So yeah, the hunting season is upon us. There'll be hounds and guns and people shouting and horns are blowing this time next week, which should mean in a couple of weeks time, or within a couple of weeks, we should start getting phone calls. Do you want any venison? Do you want any boar? My freezer is almost bare of it now, so the answer will be yes. And why wouldn't it be? Right, just gonna, because it would be rude not to, move this stick out the way. That one. Again, standard Twingo may struggle. What I'd actually like to do is, if I bump into members of the chasse, ask them if they need any help, because the thing is, when you shoot a boar, that's great, then you got 70 kilos of boar potentially in a very inaccessible place. If they don't already have a quad in the entourage, it might be a useful thing for them. So I do enjoy. I know hunting's one of those things. People, oh, I don't like it. I don't like it. I'm very much of the I would rather eat meat that's come from a wild animal than an intensively reared one. That's just how I feel about it. And if we didn't have the hunt, in all kinds of hunts, in all different kinds of countries, you simply wouldn't have the animals. And the English, again, it's the NIMBYism thing in the English here, they come in, oh, I don't like the people shooting. We shouldn't have moved to the French countryside then, love. But they don't like it, and they don't see why they should do it, and why can't they buy their meat from a supermarket like everybody else? It's, oh no, you're kind of missing the point. Point is, this isn't from a supermarket. Where the hell am I? Answers on a postcard. There we are. Well, the good news is that's Montmoreau over there on that hill. I can see the chateau. So fear not, dear watcher, viewer. Fear not, dear viewer. It is nearly over. Ooh, this is steep. I remember coming up this. And it was steep coming up it as well. The engine brakes keeping in nicely. That's good. Over to this side. Engine brake just failed then. Get back in. There we are. More expensive quads actually have an engine brake that you can select and it stays in. Yeah, where's the fun in that? And here we are. Now this brings us up to the road that I would normally have used. Before this quad, I had a little vehicle called a Q-Pod. You may have seen it was associated to Noel Evans back in the 90s, no 2000s, early 2000s. And see that house there, the one hiding behind all those trees with the tower? That's one of the ones. We looked at that house just before we looked at the one we eventually bought. That was an alternative. And at the bottom of the field there, see the railway line? That's where the TGV goes. It was like, oh, there might be noise from the train. Tell you what, it goes past at 200 miles an hour and it's silent. Amazing. So yeah, the Q-Pod, it's actually a French thing made by a company called Secma. They call it a Funtech 340 here, and it's a little, and I mean tiny, side-by-side quad bike with a 340cc engine, but it's only two-wheel drive, and I would never dream of taking it off-road, but I did used to bring it over to this supermarket just as an excuse to go for a ride on it, and this was the way I used to come. It was a good little thing. If you ever see one, they're quite cheap now. Basically bomb-proof. It's a Lombardini water pump engine in it, so they'll run forever. But now I'm only 5'7" on a good day, and it was bloody small. For me on my own, it was cramped. With two people, it was personal. And I think it used to take me about 15 minutes coming by road to get here, and by then my right foot had gone to sleep and my left leg was dead. Absolute agony, but I just loved it. It was out in the open, same as this is. As you know, I've got this as a replacement for my motorbike, which I foolishly crashed. And in many ways I prefer this. It's an awful lot slower, it's a lot less convenient, but I can wear my shorts and a t-shirt on it knowing I'm not going to drop it. And that's kind of the joy of this, I think, plus the fact that I can get it anywhere. I always wanted a dirt bike, but I've got such little legs, I couldn't reach the ground. I could barely reach the pedals. And that's it. Journey's end. This is the second closest supermarket to where I live. Now I've got to go and get some cheese.